Are we ready? Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. 8.3 Business Wairarapa. Well, please.
I'd kick Enda.
Kia ora koutou. So this is so we fund Business Wairarapa through our grants funding, and we're presenting an annual report for Business Wairarapa leading up to the end of the financial year. So I'll hand it over to Nicola.
Thank you. Kia ora everyone. Thank you for inviting Business Wairarapa to present today. This is the first of our formal presentations, and we welcome so many more. I'm assured that you've all received our report and I will take it as read. I'll just point out a couple of highlights over the last year. Certainly the establishment of Tupuana Business Masterton and Featherston Business Engine means that we've got great breadth now from Featherston to Masterton, including, of course, Go Carterton, which we are also seeing grow in membership. Renee's fantastic, by the way, who's the current admin for Go Carterton. Through all of that collaboration, we're seeing increased engagement with Business Wairarapa, which has been demonstrated best, I think, by the Hood Aerodrome survey that was taken last year. We had about 700 respondents, which was awesome. We're normally happy with 20. So great engagement. And most importantly, most recently, our business needs survey. So this is really important. This is the ground up data that really needs to feed into the economic development cross district. What was some real surprises in this? Some things we know, 26% of our workforce is in self-employment out of 6,400 businesses across the region, which include farms. And as most of you know, farms see themselves as farms, not as businesses. However, out of those 6,400 businesses, just 33 employ more than 50 people. Within that, 11 employ more than 100 and 2 employ more than 200. So it's a very, very different economic landscape to that of Wellington. What's interesting is last Friday, we hosted the Minister of Construction, Building, Manufacturing and Small Business, Christopher Pink. And I gave him that information and he was gobsmacked. He had no idea that that is what Wairarapa is. And I put it to him that, New Zealand hangs its hat that 97% of New Zealand is small business, but is actually doing nothing to support small business in the rural communities and regions. All the capabilities such as MB's Regional Business Partners Program defaults to central economic development agencies like Wellington NZ, New Zealand Business Mentor contracts, they again go to the metropolitan areas, and we really struggle to get that capability and training for the regions such as Wairarapa. And yet when we talk about small business being the backbone of New Zealand, Wairarapa is like the marrow running through that backbone. Christopher Pink like so I put it to him, how are we going to support that training? As a minister, he's stating that he wants to hear ground up, but everything's delivered top down from the glass towers. So I've invited myself to go and speak to him in the glass tower, but also working really hard based on this year to build a training and capability program that is accessible to our businesses. We are not a region where businesses, which include tourism, hospitality businesses, can pay $1,200 for training, plus take their staff out of their business for a whole day. So this is relying on sponsorship. Currently, I'm building the program. It's in our website. It's a program with short, sharp 2-hour workshops, ranging from $25 to $85. I intend to take that to Go Carterton, Mount Business Association, Featherston Business Engine, Tupuana Masterton, and say, out of this training program, what do you want to see in your district? We'll book it, we'll co-facilitate it, we'll co-promote it, we'll co-market it, build the train track, and hopefully the sponsorship train will come chugging along to help keep that going. In other news, the Wairarapa Business Summit last year held at the Carterton Event Centre, which is now the Business Summit's home, attracted 240 people. This year, the summit will be held on the 31st of July here at the Event Centre, and Brad Olsen has already been paid for to come along. I do encourage councillors to come along to that because he speaks specifically about economic data for Wairarapa. And of course, last year's Business Awards, we had a record 75 entries, a great collection of businesses from Carterton. And tonight we have a Business After 5 with Farm and Turkington Forestry and Wairarapa, who were the supreme winner. So again, a great event made possible by the support that we receive from our sub-regional associations, the collaboration, the councils, etc. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Floor is open. Council? Questions? That's right.
I'd love to hear more about your conversation with the minister and what you intend to discuss with him in detail.
You know how ministers are. They do
No.
talk.
How are they?
So he had no idea that those were the statistics here. You know, often they want to hear ground up, but they come top down. So I did put it to him. I've invited him back to the region to talk specifically to small businesses. I've also suggested to meet with him in the Glass Towers to talk about policy change. How do we change that policy? The Regional Business Partners Program, when that contract comes up this year, MB's focus is on exports. The survey shows that our businesses, they're not wanting exports. They want sales marketing. They want digital capability. They want AI. They want networking. They want connection. They want to establish new client bases, new revenue streams. So it's the small stuff, but it's so important to keep the region thriving. Yeah. So I'll let you know when I hear back, because I think it would be a great opportunity for all the councils to speak to the minister as well, seeing as small business really does prop up our economy here.
Other questions?
One last thing, of course, we launched Monopoly Wairarapa Edition last year in partnership with Destination Wairarapa. It was a great collaboration that showed our businesses, our attractions, you know, that Wairarapa is a great place to come and stay and play and do business, and it has been sold globally. We've got 30 games left, so that was a great success for a collaborative approach to showcase Wairarapa. Sorry?
Does it have tower gates on it?
Doesn't have tailgates on it.
Well, if you complete the community survey that we've currently got open, you could go into the prize draw to win a prize, which is
A Monopoly board, yes. I have to say tower gates are not a member, so we have to buy
they
that.
bought a game.
They bought a game.
Put the fence around the jail.
Harbour fence. Yes.
Just a question, page 38 under advocacy and representation. You've got explore the potential for a business Wairarapa 2.0.
So that's someone that's come back with that information. I will say that a lot of the business community want to see coordination between the three councils. So I think they'd like to see, I used to see that, okay?
So would we.
Coordination councils. I think they see a Business Wairarapa 2.0 as more or less having a greater influence in that economic development, potentially in partnership with Destination Wairarapa. There are not many entities in Wairarapa that work Wairarapa Inc. But, you know, Business Wairarapa, Destination Wairarapa, there's a new trust for attracting a skilled workforce here. I sit on the Wairarapa Skills Leadership Group that sits under. So, you know, beneath the surface of the three councils, there's a lot of cross-pollination of people that are wanting to have a greater influence.
Okay, and talking about the councils are divided, what do you think about, we've got Business Wairarapa, Destination Wairarapa, WEDS. Do you think that they should look at pooling together?
Yes.
Okay, that was a quick answer.
Yes. I think
Could you
there's
be clearer?
I think there's a real opportunity. We've got so many good people on the ground doing the doing. The current relationship seems a little hierarchical, and I think there's a real opportunity to be more linear.
And how can we explore that?
I'm going to leave that to the chair of my board and to the chair of Destinations Board to come back to you with a piece of writing from Roger and very clear. Yeah, something a bit more formal so that we can continue a conversation down that line. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Nicola.
Any other questions? Gotta be.
It's great with
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for the support of Carterton District Council. It's really fantastic working with Glenda, with Matt from Masterton, and whoever the new South Wairarapa district person is. We all work so well together. It's ground up. It's for the benefit of the people that we represent. There's no other agenda. Business Wairarapa continues to be a volunteer board and one contractor, and we're just going to keep on trucking.
Nice.
Thanks.
Well, before I put the resolution, I just want to say, Nicola, there's been in my personal view, a marked change in the way in which Business Wairarapa has operated since you have taken the helm.
I live in Martinborough. I drive to Masterton several times a week, sometimes several times a day. It's 40 kilometres. It's 5 hyperlocal subregions, each with their own strong identity, each with their own associations. We can't eat each other's lunch. So we really believe in, businesses aligning with their relevant or immediate association, whether that's Martinborough Business Association or Destination Wairarapa or Go Carterton. And so doing, they automatically become represented by a Chamber of Commerce that is inclusive and collaborative. That's certainly reduced our revenue, but it's increased our representation. So we've gone from just over 100 businesses that were just in Masterton to just under 500 businesses that are inclusive. We are going to work on a Greytown Business Association too. The current association there is not really for business capability and training. And really, again, that collaborative approach. We all cross-pollinate all these different areas. It just makes sense. And we all ride the same wave. So thank you, Ron.
My pleasure. Could I have someone please move? See this great report. Councillor Cherry Campbell, Councillor Gallen. Thank you. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Thank you very much, Nicola. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Storming. Absolutely storming. Destination Wairarapa. Anna, please. And Roger. Glenda, you're back.
No, she's- Do you need moral support?
You've got so many hats. We just might as well leave it. Anna, welcome.
Thank you. You want to
You can
kick
start.
off? Kia ora, everyone. Just to follow on from actually what Nicola was saying, if you cast your mind back, we have a Wairarapa Destination Management Plan, which was received by the 3 councils and some time ago now. And within it, it talks about capability building for tourism operations. And for a while there, we tried to be something to everybody and deliver some capability. But when Nicola came on board in particular, with her energy and enthusiasm and vision, we've started working more and more closely together. And it made sense to, we're Destination Wairarapa, we do marketing, we're an RTO. We were trying to do something for what the people wanted, but we didn't have the resources. So it made sense to align with Business Wairarapa. And out of that came the Wai Host program, which has been incredibly successful. And it was in response to what hospitality and tourism particularly needed at the time and still does. And, it's a great relationship. Really love working with Nicola and her energy and enthusiasm, and it absolutely aligns with what our industry needs. And just a really good example of collaborative working. So with regards to this report, this is Q2 ending 31st of December. We are already almost in March. It's scary how fast we've sort of moved along. This report talked about sort of a change in trend. We were looking at spend and accommodation nights starting to trend up after quite a sort of miserable winter period, and that was predominantly affected by the economy in general. And then we got to this one, and November didn't look quite so crash hot, particularly with domestic. International's going great guns, but domestic was sort of took a dive. And it's too early to tell whether that's a continuing trend or it's a blip. If it's a blip, we can talk through that. I would hazard a guess it has something to do with Toast Martinborough moving from November. I mean, that event creates an increase in GDP and is, only by so many percentage small, but it is something. And also in November we had that situation where there was large events in all 3 districts that couldn't kick off in the morning because of the accident on the other side of the hill. And it really does create an impact on us, because events for us is like a sugar hit of investment. People come over the hill, they spend the money through the weekend, or they're here setting up, or whatever it may be. And because we don't have enough accommodation in our own region, they do come over for day visits. And if they can't come over the hill the first thing in the morning, we're a little bit poked. And I suspect that is a reason. In saying that, this particular quarter, I think we'll see a game of two halves. The first half, coming into Christmas, I think people were still coming, but they were hesitant to spend money. I did notice sort of peak around just only a few days before Christmas. People started to buying a few extra bits and pieces, not just locally, but visitors to the region as well. Then we had that terrible January. It was not great. And I think the winners of that were hospitality businesses, because people who were camping around at the coast, they didn't want to hang out in their tents or their caravans or whatever they may be doing, or they've got families staying, so they'd go to cafes and restaurants. That's great, but they probably packed up early and went home and weren't spending money further afield in other outdoor activities, which we'd prefer that they were also doing. And saying that, we've got to February and it's been brilliant weather. And I'm not sure if you've noticed, Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday, we've had people through the region everywhere, and right up and down the valley. And accommodation is chocker, and it's great. It's wonderful to see. Coming into autumn, hopefully we have nice, long, warm, settled autumn weather. That will continue with the growth, and which you guys are reaping the benefits of, and we talked about it last time, is gardens and flowers. And we sort of helped work a story up around flower power recently. And if you read that one, you would have seen how wonderful Lavender Abbey is doing, and out at Longbush. And, that there's some great gardens coming online, dahlias down in Greytown as well, sunflowers. And it's just attracting so many people to come over. It's really lovely. It's quite charming. It's really wholesome. Who would have thought gardens and flowers was going to be our thing? And it's really strong, in particular for Carterton. Coming into this quarter, we're in currently, bravo to the Wairarapa Arts Festival, claiming that space. Nice effort. That's really, really cool. I love the fact that you guys just jumped in and have owned it and called it Wairarapa. It just means that you can take it further out and control it and develop as much as you want. And it's really cool. It's a gift for us, an RTO. We've got something cool to talk about, and some neat content in there. So really excited about all of that work that you guys and how it's going to roll in years to come. Talking about ministers, just if you've caught on that we have a new tourism minister as of 4 weeks ago. I was supposed to be hosting the previous minister of tourism at the end of January, and there's quite a bit of work that goes in, as you would know, briefings and who's coming and what are they going to potentially say, and you're working with MB, you're working with the minister's office and all sorts of things. And then I think it was about 4 or 5 days before he was supposed to come over the hill and meet with us, and all of a sudden he changed and the plans changed. And I have to say, everyone was superbly disappointed that we weren't. It taken a long time to get the Minister of Tourism over to Wairarapa. But the new minister has taken over. Wow, wow. I had the pleasure of meeting her last week, just as she was announcing $3 million into the RTOs to get into the international marketing. And that was really exciting to be able to conversation with her. And they're all about growth in tourism, international tourism, off peak. So this is key for us. We rely far too much on our domestic tourism, and we've talked about this before. It means resilience-wise from an economic perspective. When outdoor or outside factors such as COVID hit, then we do well. But when we have an economic situation internally that's not so great, then we hurt. And we've seen that over the last 12 months. And that's when being able to lift up more international tourists, often the power of their dollar is stronger than ours, coming in and engaging with our community in an appropriate way, it helps with that tourism dollar. And We want to grow that side of our market. We want people to come off peak because actually Wairarapa is lovely in autumn and spring because of our gardens and our land-based produce that we have here, whether it's wine or whatever it may be, harvesting. And it's a real opportunity for us to utilise our relationships with our bigger partners who sit next to us along the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail, Hawke's Bay, Wellington and Marlborough, and in Wellington they've got an international port there with a plane which will come in from international markets. So we're a small team of 3. We will keep focusing on domestic tourism, but by golly, I give you my word that we will be jumping into this opportunity presented by the Minister with great gusto, and will be getting as much as we can to get involved with whatever activities will help bring some international tourists this autumn, winter, spring.
Because you should get a reasonable chunk of that, sort of 50, 60, 100,000.
We're not allowed to get it individually. It's contestable. So there's conditions around it. It's contestable. It cannot be one RTO, because what would happen is there'd be 31 RTOs in market, all trying to ask for the same thing and diluting the message in general. So she's kind of set up a challenge for us all. But the beauty of us as Wairarapa, we are small, but we develop and work relationships. And we've been working the RTO angle the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail angle for a long time. That's an international touring product. And so we're already working with that group. So what will happen is we're more likely to get funding for the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail, taking that into market, so Australia and North America, as a group than we would get individually. And as it turns out, the chances of us creating any sort of success for this region is better as a bigger collective anyway.
And the added advantage, and having had this for a while, the Minister announced last week the applications have to be in by the middle of next month, and you've got to have the money spent by so that people are coming here in July. So we've got the advantage that and the Minister's desire that it not be just individual RTOs. We're already sort of sorted that all out. So it's good. We're ideally placed, and we think we'll do very well. But as Nicola was telling you, that the money sits with Wellington, New Zealand, and they have to dish it out to us.
They were just here earlier.
They're a different work unit to the tourism group. And the other really coincidental thing was that I had organised the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail group heads to be at Tourism New Zealand on Monday night, presenting the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail as a solution to off-peak travel, wine and food and stargazing and cycling and walking and all the great things we've got here. And they loved it. They loved the presentation. Fantastic. And then as it happens, the next day was when the Minister announced, and everyone who I met from tourism during that day looked at me and went, well, it's the Classic New Zealand Wine Trail. Why wouldn't you be doing that? And it was just fortuitous that they all up at the same time.
Stars.
And the other bit of information is that today the government published the tourism satellite account, which just goes to March 2024. But it shows exactly the same trend as we've got here. Domestic tourism is down. International tourism are quite significantly up. So so that and the explanation that States New Zealand is giving us the idea that perhaps people, it was because it was so close to the sort of the COVID restrictions going up, New Zealand has spent their domestic money going overseas. But the fact that it's continued for another year suggests that there's something structural sitting in there, which is related, I think, to people's ability to go on holiday with the current environment.
Pretty quiet in Wellington, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Any other questions or comments? Or Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, Andrew and Roger. I'm just wondering, you've emphasised in the report the accident on the hill and how much impact that had.
Yep.
Has Destination Wairarapa thrown their support behind the Remutuka Road Action Group?
Yes,
Oh, you have?
Yep.
Fantastic.
yes. Actually, I think I might be on it as quoted as supportive of it,
Yeah.
the tourism.
Excellent. Thank you.
Anything else? Well, this leaves me to say grateful for good presentation. It's always a pleasure to see you guys here, and so really appreciate it. So, team, we have one recommendation. Could I ask for someone move? Councillor Della, in a buy. Councillor Lawrence, all in favour?
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Look forward to catching up.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Nice to see
Thanks,
you.
Paul.
Yeah.
Nice to be back. All right, that's the last one, 8:12, so we go to 9. Exclusion of public. Going to the public excluded, can I have someone please move? Deputy Mayor move that we go to public excluded. Someone second, please. Councillor Newman, all in favour? Motion is carried. Let us know.
No, there's no one on there.
May